Okay, so in this video we're going to look at how to position an image. Essentially we're going to dive into a very important positioning and layout concept in CSS, and it's going to enable us to, for example, put a logo in a particular region of a web page and adjust it exactly the way we want to. Okay, so what do we have here? All right, in the head and up through the doc type. Doc type means document type. It's all the same as before, but I have changed my CSS file to a different one. I called it Rob's Custom 2. And here I have a strip I called the header. And then I've got strip, special strip, and then strip 2, strip 3, strip 4. Essentially what I did was I called all of these different things strips. I gave them a class of strip, and I'm going to include in those various settings that I want applied across all of them. And then to the extent I want anything different in each particular strip, I've assigned another class. This one I called header, up where you'll have a menu or a logo. And I called this one special strip, and we're going to look at we're going to use that in the next video. Then strip 2, strip 3, strip 4, and I gave the strips different colors. Okay, and the special strip has slightly it's a little taller, and each strip, the height is 120 pixels, the width 100% of the body. Okay, the body of the page. And I also gave them position relative, and we're going to see what this means and why it's really important and everyone needs to know about it. As you become a developer, a designer, you definitely will. Alright, so let's take a look at what we have here. Alright, so here are my different strips. Here's the special strip. Okay, it's white, so we can't really see exactly where it is, but we can see these different ones down here. Okay, going down there. And now you may say, oh, well, wait a minute, why is there some area up here? Okay, so right now the body of my web page, here's the body tag, right? Body start, body end. Now remember, this is the stuff that we are able to control. All right, and there is a default, a slight margin there. Okay, and it's set so we have our device, which in this case is a browser window, and the body is not positioning itself up against the edge. Okay, and the way we can change that is we can go over here to our CSS, and remember, we can target a particular tag just by typing the name of the tag, and here we'll give it a margin, and I can say 0 pixels, but if it's 0, I can omit the px. And then if we go over here and refresh the page, boom, it comes out against, it pushes itself out against the outermost part of the browser, of the device. It's called more than one thing. Oftentimes there's more than one word that refers to the same thing. You can call it a viewport if you want. We'll call it a viewport. Now you can see it's easier to tell that giving it a width of 100% of the viewport of the body, right? It naturally lines itself up to the edge of the viewport, because now there's no margin between the body of our web page and the viewport itself. All right. So now, okay, here's our header. Now it's quite common to have a logo up there, right? Somewhere over here or over there. So let's do that. Let's put a logo into our web page. So remember, there's strip header. If we go over, what color is that? That's aquamarine. Okay. Now remember, just recall, here we have strip, and everything with a strip, everything that has a class of strip will start with a height of 120 pixels, right? So strip 2, it still has it. But then in here at strip, special strip, okay, down here special strip, okay, it starts at 120, but then it also has a class of special strip. So as the cascading style sheets cascade on down, you have strip 120, we're cascading down. Oh, but now it says special strip, override the 120 and give it a height of 250. And they all still are maintaining this 100% of the body, right? So the width is 100%. So now let's put an image tag inside the header strip. And I want to target this specifically because I'm going to call it top logo. Remember, often when we want to target elements, and this also is an element, image element, a div element. If we want to target one specifically, we'll use an ID because ID is unique. All right, our source attribute, the source of the image. Okay. Just one sec. It's not showing up there. So all right. So now, if we want to target this image, we're looking for the ID. And we can target that by doing this. And let's see here. Okay, so remember, if we want to target an ID, we use the pound sign. Sometimes it's called a pound sign, sometimes it's called a number sign, whatever, doesn't matter. Okay, now we're going to do something special. We're going to say position absolute. Okay. Now it's very important to remember, when you position something absolute, the element or the tag that is its parent must be relative. Okay, in a moment you're going to see we're going to give this a particular set of attributes, and well, let's do it first. Let's give it some of those attributes right now. Here we're going to, we want our logo to be 15 pixels set off and away from the top of its parent element, and in a moment, just hang tight with me, you're going to see what I mean by that. And we want it also to be set off to the left of the parent element by 10 pixels. And let's give this logo a width of 80 pixels. And in my previous video, I talked about height, or using auto to automatically configure and adjust proportionally the height or the width based on, if you see my previous videos, you'll know what this means. Essentially, I gave it a height of 80, and then then it will automatically adjust the height to make it proportional. You don't have to do any math involved there. Okay? Otherwise, you might have to do a little bit of math to calculate it, but you really don't need to. Now, let's take a look at what we have here. Okay, so here's my image, and this image tag is inside of another tag, right? It's inside my header div. If we look back here, okay, here's this div here. Okay, it's inside a header, and we gave it a class of header, and so it's inside of it. So we call this the parent element. This is a parent element because this image tag is within it. It's enclosed within it. Okay, and if we give this parent element a position of relative, we can then give one of its sibling, or not sibling, but it's a child element, a position of absolute, and then we can adjust this exactly based on sort of coordinates with top and left and right and bottom, and we can position it exactly where we want it. So if I went over here and I gave this an attribute of, say, 150, then, okay, so here we're set off from the left, not of the browser window, not of the body, but of that div tag. And that parent div tag is already set right up against the edge of the body. Okay. Now let's refresh our page. We just changed it to 150 pixels, set off from the left. That's coming over this way, right? Coming this way. And sure enough, we're able to move it out a little bit. Okay, now, so technically if I wanted to say, well, how about 145? Let's just shift it even a little bit more. You can see how it just bumped there, just a slight bit. Now, you also notice, now, let's say you think to yourself, well, no, I want my logo over in the upper right-hand corner. I don't want it on the upper left-hand corner. Okay, fair enough. Then, instead of doing that, what you could do is you could come over here and say, all right, 20 pixels, but we will set it off from the left. Okay, and then let's refresh our page. Oh, I'm sorry. Right. Okay. Now, another thing you'll notice is that it will naturally adjust itself if the user were to change his browser width, right? If the user changed the browser width, it's going to naturally adjust itself, which is nice, right? Okay. So again, what you need to look at here is what's crucial is every strip I've given every strip the position of relative. Now, I don't know if that's the best choice of words, but it's the one they used. And the next thing I did was here I gave this logo element the position attribute of absolute. Okay, I get its value. Well, here's the attribute, and here's the value of. And again, oftentimes the semantics, the terminology, is a little bit confusing because often there is more than one word to refer to something. Okay, like for example, you could say a tag, you could say an element, whatever. So because I've set this to absolute, I'm able to take this logo and this particular element, all right, and move it around wherever I want to exactly on sort of an X, I think you get it, but you can position it, you can set it exactly to where you want it to be. I don't know that it needs too much more explaining, but I think you get how that works. Even if the terminology, linking the concepts, how it actually works to the terminology, doesn't always work that well. Okay, in the next video, we're going to move on to looking at how to position an image in the background and fix it there. Okay. And then when we do that, we'll get to that in the next video.